Welcome to The Way of the Leaf. Today we are talking about Season 3, Episode 1 of the Wheel of Time series on Amazon Prime. We have our non-book readers with us once again this season, G-Mama and Lady Kathryn. Welcome, ladies. Tonight we're going to talk about the first episode. It's called To Race the Shadow. It was written by Justine Jewel Gilmer and directed by Kieran Donnelly.
All right, let's start off. Do you have any overall impressions of the episode?
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. It was one of the best. I watched it first time because they had that preview on my little phone, and I was like, and then I watched it on my big screen. It was great. It was amazing. I had some questions, but it was amazing.
Awesome.
I saw the first when they dropped whatever the first 11 minutes or whatever. So I saw that first. Whatever, a week ago, and yeah, that was kind of jaw dropping. Like, holy shit, what is going on? So I was happy to see that again, and then the further context. But I agree. There was a lot that I liked about it.
It does start off hot. It starts off with the trial of Leandrin, but before we get into that, there were some previously on. Did you find those to be helpful?
Always.
To remind you?
Always, yeah. Because there's a ton that happens. So I did. I'm like, oh right, okay, that's right. He's the Dragon Reborn. Oh yeah, that's right. Elaine helped him. That's right. He killed Ishi.
And I did like the fact that they showed the Gleeman, and I'm assuming that means that they're going to be important in the coming episodes. Either that's the reason that everyone knows about the Dragon Reborn all the way to the clit.
The taco balls.
Yeah, that they know all the way from there to there. If it's from the Gleeman or it's just what, but maybe that's why they included them.
Ooh, I like that idea. So the Gleeman, it was behind the stories moving from one place to the other. That's a really cool idea.
The only Gleeman we've seen was that one guy at that one tavern who sang one verse to the one song. Do you think
a not gleeful song either?
No, he's the Morosman.
The Morosman. Yeah.
Do you think it will be this particular Gleeman we see again, or just Gleeman in general?
I'm going to assume there's more than one Gleeman. It's not Gleeman, it's Gleeman. Yeah. So I'm assuming they're going to have a couple of different ones.
They're going to come in. Yeah, I mean, it's a gig, right? It's that storyteller, musician job that folks have. So
it's free beers in a bar.
I'm guessing if we see a Gleeman, we're going to see the same guy back. Maybe he's got a band with him this time, but we're going to see Tom back.
Is Ed Sheeran a Gleeman?
He is in he's
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. He was a little Gleeman musician.
No, he's a soldier. Oh, he was playing, but he was a soldier. You're right.
But I mean, that voice, Dan.
The Gleeman were Coldplay.
All right, so we have the trial. Leandrin accuses Swan Sanche of allowing the Dragon Reborn to flee. Swan accuses Leandrin of being a dark friend. She says you have no proof. Boom, in walks Nynaeve, and then this happens.
That face that Swan makes when she's like, you have no proof, and Swan just kind of looks at her and then looks at Leanne, and Leanne goes, bring in Nynaeve, Almira.
Yeah, pound the stick on the ground to get their attention.
The heavy staff.
Right.
Yes.
So here's a couple things my impression of this battle in the White Tower. I don't know what that room is called, but it seemed like all the other Aes Sedai that were in there. I mean, Swan was fighting and Lyanna was fighting. And it seemed like not a lot of the other ones were. There was not a lot of defense going on by anyone except for those two. And the 5 Black Aja just wiped them all out.
Yeah, they were totally outnumbered. Totally outnumbered, 2-1.
And then, a little while later, Alana beat the shit out of 4 of the Black Aja. So I'm like, it was a little bit weird that a lot of them didn't seem to fight back.
Well, I think they said split up, and that one Aes Sedai actually split herself in two.
You go that way.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I came around at the end with Nynaeve, but like she tried to do something and couldn't. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, are we starting with Nynaeve being like totally useless again? Like out the gate, she was useless.
Uh-huh.
Later, she said, I can't, like, I need to stay and learn how to control this because I can't get it. So I'm like, okay, at least she finally admitted that she needs to.
What do you guys make of this block? Where is it coming from?
The what?
What?
This block on her abilities, the fact that she
Oh.
is not able to do anything, but she is she shines like a million suns or whatever.
I think she thinks she's too powerful and she's scared of it.
Mm.
No one should have that much power.
No one man should have all that power.
Nope.
Yeah, I think she, right. I mean, she's a wisdom. She has not liked Aes Sedai ever. So she doesn't, kind of let her mind go or let whatever needs to go in order to channel it. The only time she can is when she's overly emotional. So I think, she has this, doesn't know how to control her emotions. And I'm thinking you have to like tap into something in order to control the power. And she doesn't know how to do that.
Did Liandrin spare? Oh, please go ahead.
Sorry, one thing I did notice, and this may be random, it may be super important because I'm looking for clues everywhere. When the Dark Friends joined Liandrin, each one of the chairs had three colors of three in each color. Each one of the dark ones was the center one. I don't know if that meant anything or not, but
right. Yeah, but not one from every color came forward either. That was a yellow, that was a green, that was a gray, I think. The bald one, and a white one.
Oh my god.
And a white, and Leandrin's red, and Naomi.
All right, so
Lady
brown. Yep.
The brown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I swear to you, when that bald one was throwing her things, all I could think of was The Last Airbender.
She was Avatar.
Yeah.
Just put like an arrow on her head.
Like Naruto. I was like,
good.
oh my god, she's Naruto. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Varen takes Naomi and another brown sister to something they call the 13th Depository. It's a hole in the wall. Literally, there's a hole in the wall when you allow it. And you step inside and there's all kinds of treasures. What did you guys make of this treasure hut?
The treasure hut or treasure hunt?
Treasure hut. The whole thing. The whole hut of treasures.
Yeah, I mean, it was like it's like in a bank, the safe. You have to go behind that kind of big, huge thing, right? So it's obviously where they kept all the most valuable of things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where she came from. I mean, all of a sudden, yeah, but I mean, we had. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, just amongst the Aes Sedai, we've seen the
and we saw the bald one too and all that. But
they were just background people.
Yeah. I don't know how many things she stole. I thought it was 3 or 4, but I'm not sure.
She got as much as she could. She got what we needed and what kind of everything she could.
She said as much as I could get my hands on, which. Yeah. She has little hands, so that ain't much.
Oh,
bad. She had a coat. She was throwing everything at the coat. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so that was a very powerful beginning. And then, kind of like what sort of goes through in the next couple episodes, you actually have no idea who is a Black Aja and who isn't. I mean, because these people who are
right, not even the warders knew. The red stepped up and said, "Step aside," and they're like, they drew weapons and they're like, "You ain't getting by us, red." And then they saw a green and a yellow and they're like, "Oh, thank God, it's you guys that aren't red." And they're like, "Ha ha ha ha, we're black."
Well, and then not, but the
red.
one
Yeah.
was she red when she was green when she came out and they killed her warders, and she's like, "It feels so good. I can feel them die and it feels amazing," or whatever. I think
she was talking about the people inside.
Well, see, when I saw the first clip, I thought she was talking about the people inside, but when I saw the full episode, I think she was talking about her warders. Because they're like, "We killed your warders," and I thought that's what she was referring to as like how she could feel them dying and didn't care.
Yeah, they do have a bond, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And we saw Alana and
yeah, but I thought she was taunting the other two warders.
Yeah, I mean they killed her warders just like that.
Yeah, but I thought she was taunting them like you can't get in there and I can hear them all dying. I don't know.
Well, what is she was responding to? The woman said, "I've killed your warders and I'll kill you too." And she goes, "I can feel them dying. It feels wonderful."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but why would she say it felt wonderful that her warders were dying? I think
because
she was talking about the people inside.
She's evil.
Because she's evil.
But then she said the blacks are winning.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought she was talking about her warders, but I do not know.
Could be.
Alana confronts the group as they're leaving. Her two warders do as well. Swan goes and confronts them on a different street. She takes the side streets, the alleys. Alana takes the main highway. She's like, "You will not leave this place alive." She has her two warders that are like, "You are right." And they do a pretty good job, but one of the warders does die at the very end by a sword being thrown at him.
Mm-hmm. As he's jumping in to protect Alana and Maxime. So he sacrificed himself to save them.
But they stabbed a few of the.
They did. They killed a couple of the black.
Yeah, they did. Okay, I didn't know if they killed them and they'd not brought them back.
Well,
but, you know,
I guess that's true. I mean, they were as they were stabbing people, right? Then the yellow were going in and healing them. But I think they killed. I think they killed a couple of Black Aja around Leandrin.
A pretty mighty cold open. It was, I believe, about 17 minutes long. Yeah, and there's Alana. She feels them dying too, and she doesn't like that feeling.
Right.
That was tough. I didn't expect them to die.
But we get the kids all together.
Then we jump into all the kids. Everyone's together, and it's been a month. They said, right? So they've all been traveling together from Falm on a boat, whatever. So they referenced a couple times that it's been a month since.
But also before then, they go after HBIC.
Yeah.
And they put her in a web, and they said they couldn't keep her, so they were going to kill her. And Moiraine saves her life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right there.
And I think Moiraine knew what was going to go on in the thing. I think they're in communication more so after their little tiff about the hole in the wall.
Oh, okay.
Because in the very beginning, she'll be okay. She knows, and then she sees it blowing up, and she knows it's not going okay. But she
even said today is not about Swan. But so she knew, But I mean, obviously they've been together for a very long time. So I mean, they care for each other Well,
that's interesting. The last time we saw them, they were in conflict.
Yeah.
And when we saw them even here, Swan seemed a little surprised to see her.
No, I thought she was surprised because, I mean, they had this, the last time they saw each other, basically she disobeyed her and kind of went on. And so I don't think they've seen each other for that full month. So I think Swan was just surprised that she was helping her like there. I mean, and still just caring enough for her that she's putting herself in danger to help.
Yep.
So Lan finds Nynaeve in a bakery disaster.
Did Leandrin not kill Nynaeve on purpose, or was it just she just throwing?
I think we kind of heard that later, and now since we watched all 3 episodes all at once, it's going to be hard for me to like isolate them. But we did learn that she they didn't say saved her, but she didn't kill her, because they certainly killed plenty of others.
Yeah, it was right after they cut those pillars that they cut that woman in half, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she very well could have killed her, but didn't. So I think, I mean, kind of think anyone she didn't kill was not killed on purpose. Anyone who wasn't fighting back, anyway.
Right.
Well, she couldn't fight back. She doesn't have the powers.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of like swatting a mosquito that's in the way. Why kill it? It's not going to,
Well, she knows how powerful she is, though. She's seen how powerful she is. So I think she probably wants to get her on her side. But they also kind of have, I mean, Nynaeve has like this respect for Leandrin. She like knows her a bit more than just sort of the evil person that she is. So
yeah, she saw her with her 100-year-old son.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And she was kidnapped by her and sold to the Binky people.
Right.
The Binky people. Yeah. First scene is all of our Two Rivers folk together in one room. This is so fun.
They're playing
Egwene is badass too, by the way. So costumes, I mean, we just need to talk about the costumes from the beginning. Like all of the Aes Sedai and all the colors. I mean, every costume just looks awesome. This room looks fantastic, and Egwene just, she looks like a badass. I love her look.
I love her short hair.
Yep.
I love the outfit. She looks great. Oh yeah.
And a Mad Max.
Thunderdome.
Yeah, I mean, right? She was like the farm girl in the peasant dress, and now she's kind of the badass soldier pants and like jacket and like a harness. She's wearing like a harness and one scene.
Yeah, that was really good.
But yeah, I enjoyed seeing kind of seeing them and then they know sort of they're in danger and they need to go somewhere, but they're like, all right, we got a night, so they split up and are friends, and we haven't seen them be like just that fun friendship,
Boys be boys.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but Rand says wherever we go, we'll go together. They're all in it together.
Yeah.
But then
That didn't last long.
Yeah. Well, then Lanfear shows up. Lanfear like just jump scares Moiraine and Lan. They're like, "There's Lanfear. Oh, there she is." And they go into cahoots. They decide that that he has to leave his friends. His friends, according to Lanfear, his friends tie him to the boy he was instead of the man he must become.
Personally, I think Lanfear wants to get him away from Egwene because he's sleeping with Egwene and he ain't sleeping with her. I think that's the only reason that she wants to get him away. I don't think I still, I'll bring it up later, but I think that they're important together.
Okay.
I think that might be like a bonus because the other Forsaken commented too on her, like on how much she did the same thing with Luce there, and so she needs, she's kind of fallen too hard for this guy. But because I think that the statement of him not being held back, right, and being too connected to the Two Rivers and to all of that is absolutely true while he's with all of his friends, and they need him to leave that behind and truly become the dragon. So I think both of those things certainly can be true, right? That she wants to get him away and have him to herself for sex reasons and probably for other reasons.
Well, they both seem to want him to go to Tyr.
Right.
And Tyr is where there is a sword called Kalendor. It is, the prophecies say that the stone of Tyr will not fall until the Dragon Reborn pulls the sword out of the stone or something.
Mm-hmm.
Excalibur.
Yeah.
Cassie, did you ever try that at Disneyland? You ever tried to pull that?
Of course.
Yeah, that shit wasn't moving. I think it was just made like that. It wasn't going anywhere.
No, there's someone that can unlock it. It's a remote thing. So like a little kid could go in there and we'll pull it out. Yeah, you can. Yeah, someone
Sometimes
is in
it would
control
move
of it.
like you could feel like it would move like a little bit and then you couldn't move it anymore.
It's because that jerk.
Yeah.
I guess I was strong.
I always wanted to have Tabitha and clean my room.
Yeah.
Put my nose and Sabrina. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I found it fascinating. I think this is about the same time that Rand is talking with Lion Guy, and they're going over prophecies.
Lion Guy.
Loyal.
Yeah. Is this at that time or is that later?
I think it's right around. Yeah, I mean, he's talking to him throughout this episode. He's finding out more and more and just is baffled by it.
Right.
Yeah.
And trying to read the prophecies and memorize them and try and figure out what they actually mean.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. There was one he says, prophecy says, when his people join him, then he will get Excalibur. And he's thinking in his mind that he needs an army. But I think his people are his group of the 5.
The people of the dragon?
All the ones that are going to separate, I think those are the ones that he needs they all have to be together.
Interesting.
That's what I thought.
And not an army. So there's clearly something really important about swords, right? This sword of Kalendor, because the comment that I think when Moiraine and Lanfear were talking was that he needed that to kill the other Forsaken, and they're like, well, but he didn't need it to kill Ishi. I think she even said Ishi. Mm-hmm. And then there was another point too where Moiraine told Lan to go and get his sword, his dad's sword. So there's just these particular swords used, it seems, for particular things, right? So Lan got a sword that he doesn't typically, it's not his day-to-day sword. He got another one for whatever they're heading into, and so there's definitely something. I mean, right? We saw the heron marked blade like from early on too. So there's connection.
He said it was made from the same thing that the heron blade was, and that was the one power. And they both were. So I guess this
and so maybe the Kalendor is the same. We don't. I mean, they didn't really say except that he needs to go and get that.
Are they magic?
They sort of make you think that, right? That to me, that comment of like he kind of should have had that one to kill Ishamael, but he didn't. He had another one and still did. But the fact that he needs this sword, there's some power inside the sword. So call it magic, call it, there's some power that the sword has. And that's why Lan had to go and get another sword too. He had to go get a sword with another type of power than the one he uses to kill rabbits.
But he didn't feel worthy of it before. He was using it now because he had to, not because he felt worthy.
Yeah, because he felt weak, which is really, that moment was awesome.
I didn't like his hair down. He's got to be man bun all the way. His hair down doesn't work for me.
All right, we can't skip this moment a little bit back in our discussion when Nynaeve and Egwene and Elaine were all kind of drinking it up, and the Amerlin Sea walks in, dismisses Elaine,
Yeah.
and there's like a negotiation where Egwene says, "I'll go back to the tower, but I'm going in the arches like tonight."
Right.
And then
Immediately
there's this.
was in her jam.
Yeah. I mean, it's jump cut to that, but like I would love to talk to you about the scene that she experiences, and what you guys think about that.
Okay, first off, they looked freaking hot. They looked so good.
Oh my God.
All three of them did.
All three of them. They looked so good. So yeah, that was my kind of first thought, was just like stunning in terms of how they looked. Right.
Well, how do you like Rand with long hair?
He looked
fine too.
Well, yeah, he looked
Eddie Vedder, Eddie Van Althor,
right there. And right, and they referred to Egwene as the Amerlin, right? So she's the Amerlin seat in that.
Mm-hmm.
He looks a little like Carrot Top right there.
He's screaming, "Bow to me!"
Yeah, and then she comes out of it stops, growing your loins, girls, kind of thing. And then she comes flying through covered in blood, as in she's gone through all three of them. So it's going to come up, I think, throughout the thing. She'll get glimpses of it as soon as she can get past the glimpses of her master at the last one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right, we saw, I mean, it's interesting. The arches now, all three of them have gone through. And again, sorry, I'm skipping probably to another episode. But when the first time when Nynaeve went through, we spent a lot of time in the arches with her and saw and really got to understand what it was. And then with Egwene, we saw just one arch and one scene. And then once Elaine goes through, they're just like, yeah, she did that. We have no idea what she experienced. She probably anyway.
I think it was Galway like pinning her down as a kid and like giving her noogies
with a noogie over her face and then slurping it back up.
My God!
Don't move.
Memories of my brothers.
Yeah.
First Prince of Spit.
But I loved too, like, again, Egwene being kind of badass, that making this deal, like, okay, I'll stay. I need to go through the arches now. And she went through the arches and she's like, well, now you can't
got my ring.
Now I got my ring. I don't have to stay. You can't tell me what to do anymore. Yeah. So I kind of loved that she was just like, peace out.
There is this event that happens in the middle of the night. Well, first of all, it's party time, right? They have one night off. Elaine's like, I'm getting drunk. Matt's like, hey, let's go paint this town red. What was his toast to seeing double and staying single?
Yes. That was great. Yeah.
Wanted a picture of him blowing the
right.
He's just funny. He's having people draw him with the horn. He's all, hey ladies, you ever been with a horn blower?
Yeah, is that what you call it?
And they're going out. They're going partying.
After she says, don't go anywhere. The guy who signed your shoe is going to tell the Red Aja where you are and this and that. And they're like, we're going drinking. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then in their partying, and Elaine can definitely hold her own until she sneaks away to get it on with Avienda.
Okay. All right. So the last episode of the last season we watched, it was Rand opens his eyes and looks up
and
and sees
her.
this.
Yeah.
And she's like haloed in color. And I thought, oh, Rand is going to fall in love with her. They're going to have little ginger babies. I was so thinking that was going to happen. And then I shooketh.
Well, that doesn't mean both things cannot be true.
Yeah.
Well,
By the way, that reminds me, Grace, we need to get some ginger babies when next time I go to the store from Keebler. Oh my God.
I mean, they had alluded to it. They made some comment about like, oh, Aviandra's been looking at you since the boat, whatever. And so, but yeah, so they had their little tryst.
Elaine says, finally.
Finally, right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that she's not gonna, go after Rand at some point too.
I don't know. I want to see, for some reason, I want to see Rand with the Dom lady with the outfit.
The Forsaken? With
Lanfear?
With Lanfear?
When she tied him up on the thing. I just think she's still in love with him, and I think she'd go against the other Forsaken for him. Yeah.
Well, there's Elaine and Avienda sitting against God and man.
I mean, Elaine's the top.
Elaine's the top.
Avienda's a power bottom.
I thought she was the pillow goddess.
Yeah, Elaine.
You know what? Everyone parties their own way.
Yeah.
The boys are partying their way.
Yeah, Tyshar.
Yeah. Well, at this point, they were kind of they weren't all together, right? So this is later in the night. So they were all. Elaine was hanging out with Loyal and Perrin. Oh yeah, they were doing the maiden's kiss with Matt. So a bunch of them were together, but Rand and Egwene were together, and what's her name? Nynaeve and Lan were right. So they were pairing up. I mean, it was party night, right? So they were all doing.
Tarvalon was going off.
Yeah, it was. They were all kind of doing their things,
and they were discussing her trials through the tunnels.
Yeah.
And he was like, how was it? I'm not supposed to. And he said, well, she goes, all I can tell you. And she mentioned the girl's name and everything. So they've talked about this.
Right. Right.
And they are like, yeah, we had to sacrifice what we really want and this and that, but we were happy, but we weren't. But, she was telling him what was going on. He knew from what she remembered, because she said she's starting to lose her memory on it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the actors or whatever, but that relationship is not of a lot of interest to me. Lan and Nynaeve.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. And maybe it's because she kind of drives me crazy and I always feel like she's so helpless. But I think kind of like you were just saying, Cass, was that there's obviously a lot more of their relationship that we're not seeing, right? They're talking and all that, but I don't know. I want more chemistry.
We don't see them making love.
Warmer.
Need to see them
warmer.
I mean,
we do see at the end of the episode where he essentially does the closest thing to a proposal without it being a proposal.
Yeah.
He gives her his mother's ring.
He does.
Says, you know what? You'd be the coolest queen ever. But doesn't say anything beyond that.
Right. Well, because they're splitting up too, right? She's going where she needs to go. He's going where he needs to go. So it's this they so often know that they can't be together, which is why I think he was really interested in knowing what happened in the Arches, because that was a whole different life that they can't have.
It's kind of a Ross and Rachel thing. Are they on? Are they off? Are they on?
I think they're on, but because Maureen's warder and they have different things that they are prioritizing.
I don't know. He ran away from Moiraine as soon as she yelled "Lan." She kept yelling Matt. Matt was in his zone, but as soon as she yelled Lane, he went for it. He was taking care of her.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I don't understand why they sat there during the whole thing too.
Because they knew it was happening. They knew it was going to happen. That was the whole deal that they made with Lanfear, where Lanfear's like, we need to break them up. And she said, you think I would hurt them? And Lanfear said, yeah, that's what I like. That's the only thing I like about you. I know you'll hurt them in order to have Rand do what he needs to do. So they knew what was going on. They were sitting there letting it happen.
Later on, when they confront Lanfear, Lan is like, Nynaeve was stabbed 11 times. And she's like, I didn't do that. I didn't go after her.
Right, but what were they supposed to do if she's hearing all these things? I mean...
Well, they found out then that there was a gray man, and Lanfear was like, kind of like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Right.
So they're now afraid. Like they knew kind of some of it was going to happen, but not the one that ended up stabbing.
A gray man who had blackened fingernails. And she's like, oh, that's only one person is that. And that ain't me. Get Rand out of the city now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's afraid of the others, I think.
Let's bring the conversation back to this moment. They were letting this happen. Moiraine and Lan were in a room. He's pacing. And only when she calls him, he bolts out. Now, the reaction is this. She's healing Nynaeve at this moment, and she's staring daggers at Lan. Like, what do you... and it turns out, in the end, when they interact, and they meet with Lanfear, and Lanfear explains, like, that gray man was not me. Like, ostensibly, like, Moiraine is wrong. And Lan... so that's just, so many things are going on in that look, right? Like, she's pissed. What do you guys think of that?
What did
I didn't quite catch that look, and her being pissed at Lan, but I mean, when you just pulled it up, I caught it, but like watching it, I didn't.
Okay.
She pissed at Lan, or she knowing that Lan's pissed at her because she trusted Bondage Girl? Yeah.
Bondage. Well, yeah, I mean, so there's so many levels to this, like so many ways of looking at it. I wanted, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was, that was a bonkers, 15 minutes or whatever, especially like with Matt just
zoned.
Yeah, zoned, and just looking at those cards that were kind of, talking to him while she's just getting.
Oh yeah, repeatedly stabbed like 11 times. That was crazy.
And then I mean the commotion that was going on in that whole place, right? Because Rand, all the multiple Rands, which that was pretty darn cool too. Like
cool, but I couldn't figure out which was which. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
who was the right one?
Yeah.
Right. They both told Egwene, stay back, Egwene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Egwene, run.
Matt is starting to develop powers after the blowing of the
horn.
Little boy blue. Okay, Egwene is having these dreams, which I think may be coming from Lanfear. Or is Rand, because he killed whatchamacallit?
Samael?
Yeah. Did he get any of something from him? Because that guy was a dream walker. Is Rand all getting the power of a dream walker too?
Oh, interesting.
Ooh, cool.
I don't know.
We did see a little dream there, didn't we, with Egwene? Or is that next episode?
I think that's the next episode. In this one, I mean, right, it was the nightmares, and she kept having nightmares or even just flashbacks, right? So like when she was kissing Rand, she had this flashback. And then when she was sleeping, she kind of was having these flashbacks. And then, but then like it went from the dream and then Rand on top of her choking her, but that was actually happening in the room. Of one of the, like, whatever, the Forsaken kind of attack.
Kathryn,
waking up with marks every day
Right. Yeah.
from her dreams. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And like so many times she's getting choked. Like this poor woman.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I assume that the Shanshin were probably a part of her accepted test
Right.
that we didn't
I was
see.
thinking that too.
And she just has another little pocket of trauma to just store away in that that dark little brain of hers now.
After we learned that it was not Lanfear, in fact, who brought on the gray man, she said, "Get him out of here." The next scene, we see everyone together, and they're kind of just like telling what they're going to be doing, and they're not staying together. Parents going to the Two Rivers.
We have a scene where Matt...
that the Black Aja and the Forsaken are kind of after, like, you know, are things that need to be contended with, and so Rand feeling like I need to get away from all y'all.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder about the entire decision to bring the Dragon Reborn into Tarvalon in the first place.
Right.
But he decides, I am not going to Tyr. I am not getting Kalandor. I am going where the last place that anyone will ever think. I'm going to the Aiel Waste with my friend here, Avienda. Because
he thinks he needs a big army to get the sort out the Excalibur. So he's thinking if he can get all of these people, his basic blood relatives, to believe in him and follow him, then he can get the sword out of the stone. But I'm thinking he'll probably need army anyways. But I'm thinking he's not going to need that army. He needs his buddies.
That is, go ahead.
I was going to say, and right, he's been told he's the Karan too, right? So he's been told too that the Aiel are
have been waiting for him.
Waiting for him. So the prophecies, right? So the prophecies are interesting. The prophecies, well, and I don't totally understand because Loyal is reading the prophecies and they're looking at those, and but then the one that Aviandra had was different. I mean, they were very similar, but they were different. So I don't know, like, whose prophecies Loyal is reading, like, and sort of where they all come from and what peoples have different things. And I mean, they're all quite similar, in that he's like really important and he's gonna kind of, you know, change things, but they were just different enough of what really he needs to do and what really is going to happen. So he picked sort of one to go and follow, maybe thinking it's going to be safer, because I mean, he's probably right. If everyone knows that this sword is in Tyr, that if he goes there, like, they're all just going to follow him anyway, or they're going to be waiting for him.
He is called the potential Karn, not to be confused with the prophesized person who always asks for a manager at a restaurant, who is the Karn.
Karen?
Good one.
Can I see your manager?
He is going with Egwin. Egwin is his ride or die, but Matt and Nynaeve say they're going to stay. Nynaeve needs to figure out why she can't channel. Matt has been pretty open about his mental health. He's like, I am not sleeping every time I close my eyes. It sounds like a carnival. And everyone's just screaming and dying, and I can't sleep, and I need help, and I need promises to help.
A really horrible carnival, by the way.
A death carnival, yeah.
Right, people screaming, but not like, you know, yay, this is fun.
I mean, if you close your eyes, it kind of sounds like people are on the tilt-a-whirl, though.
As it rolls off.
Yeah, I don't know.
The tilt-a-whirl's rolling down.
The difference between joy and death is kind of hard.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like
love and hate.
Swimming and drowning, it's kind of hard to tell.
It's the conviction.
Not drowning, waving.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And Matt also mentioned that he said the only person he thinks that can help him is Nynaeve. right? So
Mhm.
he's going to stay with her
Uh-huh.
while
She's the
Perrin
wisdom.
decides he's going back to the Two Rivers.
Yeah, and Perrin's homeward bound. I
And
wish I
Perrin's
was.
eyes were gold the
Oh.
whole time.
Yeah.
The Two Rivers.
Yeah.
are
I
home.
like that they're not like the other.
He hasn't gone back. He's like going wolf.
All right, and then the very last scene we have, just a horrifying scene where Moghedien has Jai Kim
Oh,
strung
yeah,
up.
Jaya
Yeah.
Kim.
Spider lady.
Yeah.
It was hinted at that it was not Lanfear doing that. She said only one Forsaken can make these. Well, we get to see it happen.
Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't seem that hard. It seems like you can make a bunch
turn
of
his
these like
blood
in an
right?
afternoon.
Well, it's like you got to get them to like say I want it. I think.
Yeah, maybe. Well.
Yeah. Freeze their blood or whatever. But
Yeah.
what's interesting too, right? So Lanfear knows that there are a bunch of Forsaken that have been freed. She's been talking to some of them, but she doesn't know. She didn't seem to know that this one was freed, even though we saw this one at the very end.
She did because she got caught up in the web in the
Mhm.
very end of the other one. So she knew she was free. I
Yeah,
just didn't
that's
know
what I was-
she knew that she knew where they were at.
Where they were like, okay, I guess that's what she was surprised about. Because I'm like, I thought she knew about that this one was freed already.
Yeah, I mean, apparently no one knew that they were supposed to be in Tarvalon. So the fact that the Gray Man was there and was sent by another Forsaken means that their cover's blown.
Gets out.
But yeah, she turns him into a Gray Man. She, Jaya Chin, she's creepy.
Freezes his
She's don't trust anyone with bangs that short.
Fuck all Bob. Is that what it's called? So on a scale of 1 to 10, guys, what do you give this episode?
You
I
go,
liked
Grace.
it. I'm going high 8s, 8.5 or so. I liked it.
Okay.
Eight and a half.
That first 11 minutes was bonkers.
Hmm.
Like it was crazy. And then Yvonne died. There was a lot that happened in it. So like by the time you get to the end, you sort of forgot about all the bonkers stuff that happened in the beginning too. So it was good. Yeah, 8.9. I'm going. I'll go 8.9.
9.5. I thought it was one of the best.
Wow.
Excellent.
Really do. It was so hyped. Did not expect. I didn't watch any of the previews. Didn't do anything. And then when I came in, sat down, and went, oh. I mean, I was standing there, like pacing. You know. What'd you guys think? What was your scores?
I agree with 9.5. It's been my favorite episode so far of the season. It had a cohesiveness that I really appreciated. Like there are several like rugs pulled out from underneath you, but it didn't feel contrived. There was a narrative thread that like went throughout that was you could follow it. I thought the action sequences looked amazing. I think the entire visual field is I don't know how to explain it. It's just a leveled up in a way. Like everything just looks better. There's more actors and actresses on screen. Like there's more kind of like a sense of like gravity.
I'd give it. I think I'd give it like a 9. Yeah, it was good. I think it really set the pace for the rest of the season. It gives us a definitive bad guy and good guy. We have objects that we need to get back. You know, we got goals going on. So I like it. I like it.
All right, well, thank you, Lady Kathryn. Thank you, G-Mama. This has been Season 3, Episode 1, Non-Book Reader Reacts. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you next time. Run for your lives. This is Way of the Leaf.